Park Street Books is proud to sponsor the Paige Doodle Club. Find them locally at 504 Main Street, Medfield, Mass. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or visit parkstreetbooks.com. No matter where you are, that's parkstreetbooks.com.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Paige Doodle Club. I'm Mike Paige, and today I've been asked to draw a princess. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The important thing is that you make your mark. So I was asked to make a princess by one of our viewers. I'll be honest, I've been putting off doing a princess episode since we first started, because princesses are very generic. There's no, what does a princess look like? Is she wearing a ball gown ready for some fancy thing? Is she sitting around waiting for a prince to come? Sort of the storyline behind a princess can be kind of problematic in the movies where they seem to just be waiting for some big thing. So I've pushed off doing a princess episode. However, I was asked to do one today, but I'm going to put my own little spin on it. Rather than have a sort of Disney-type princess that's just waiting for her prince, I'm going to do a Viking shield maiden, someone who is very strong and independent. So to start, I'm making kind of an oval shape for the head. And I'm just making lines lightly to start. Then I'm going to kind of fill in. This will be her hair. The part is over here. Her eyes will be about halfway down here, like that. This is a good general rule when you're making the human head. From the top to the bottom, the eyes should be in the middle. Most people tend to draw eyes way up here. You want them halfway down the head. Then the nose is going to be halfway down from there, and the mouth halfway down from the nose. So real quick, I'm just going to kind of scribble in some eyes. She'll be looking towards us. That. Then for the nose, I'm just going to make a line kind of like that. It's almost like a letter L. I'm not going to put in a ton of detail on this, on the nose. Less tends to be more, especially on the female face. With a man's face, you can add every little line. When you do it on a woman's face, even if those lines are there, it tends to look a little less idealized. Not that it needs to be idealized, but ladies don't tend to like the drawings as much if you show all the detail that's there. So less is more when you're drawing a lady. So we'll have the hair kind of swept off to one side and hanging down. And maybe we'll have it sort of in a braid here. Then she will want a neck, of course. I'm just going to make some of these lines a little bit darker. As I said, less is more. All of these extra lines that I made, not ideal when you're drawing a lady. She kind of has a Viking beard going on. But that's part of the process when you're drawing. If I was using a pencil, of course I could go back and erase these lines. But when you're committing with a pen, you've got what you've got. And you can make certain areas darker, but you can't take things away. So we'll make her shoulders right about here. And if she is a Viking shield maiden, of course she will want a giant shield to protect herself. So shield maidens in Viking mythology and Norse stories were very important. And they were not only seen as equals to the men, but often they were seen as being better than the men. So for the girl viewers, if you're looking for a strong, powerful female to look up to, Viking shield maidens are pretty cool. Inside and in the middle of the shield, we're going to put the iron or metal part that would have been at the middle. So this would all be wood, and then you might have a ring with metal in the middle, kind of like that. That's almost like a UFO shape. Next, we will make her arm, and I think she might be holding a spear. Again, I'm kind of doing everything lightly to start. I don't want to commit right away to where my lines are because I want to make sure that I have the proportions right before I fill things in dark. So we're going to have her arm about like this. This will be her hand. And then once you're fairly confident on your hand, you can start making knuckles. And a thumb. And again, less is more. So you don't need to draw all the line all the way across on each of those fingers. If you just kind of imply that the fingers are there, it will probably come out better than if you try to make the entire thing. Next, we're going to give her the spear that she's holding. And because of the angle that I'm sitting at, I'm not positive that I'm making that quite a straight line. Hopefully you're sitting right over your piece of paper and you can tell. On yours, you can make it a nice straight line for the spear. I have my dog here with me today, and I'm hearing squeals of delight out in the other room. So I think he's a hit. Next, we're going to put the head of the spear, and for that, it's going to be kind of like a kite shape or a diamond shape with the longer end up at the top, like that. So that's kind of like a kite that you might fly, but flipped upside down. And then I might just shade half of that. And then we'll put not sure what that's called. On a paintbrush, it's called the ferrule, but I don't know if it's called the same thing on a spear. Probably not. Very different tool. Then we're going to have her torso come down here. And we will give her sort of a belt area. Now you could decide if you want your Viking shield maiden to be wearing a dress, so she's still the princess you were hoping for, you could give her a dress. I'm going to give my shield maiden slightly more correct clothing for being a shield maiden. But again, if you were hoping for a princess, go for it. So I'm going to give her kind of a metal cuff here. Almost like what you might picture for Wonder Woman. And we'll give that a shadow on it. And then she could even have some, like a belt going over her shoulder. And then we'll give her legs coming down, of course. And you can decide how you want her standing. If you want her feet planted Towards you, you could. I'm going to have one leg out slightly, I think, kind of coming forward. And as I go, I'm kind of checking back to my proportions because I didn't really rough out the entire body before I started. I made the head and then I started coming down. So now I'm starting to double back to check proportions of things before I kind of finalize everything. If you want this to be a very warm, kind of woolly, like a bear skin or sheep's wool outfit that she's wearing, you can kind of make it scribbly on the edges to show that it is a furry outfit. So again, I didn't want to just make a plain old Disney-esque princess for the princess episode. Not that there's anything wrong with princesses, but here we are, it's 2021, and I think it's pretty cool for girls to have women to look up to that are more like a Viking shield maiden, that go out and handle business and take care of the problems that they see in their world, and not just waiting for a big fancy dance. So that's why we're doing a shield maiden. And this kind of pen doesn't really like to work at this angle quite so long, so every now and then I have to come off to the side and do a quick little scribble. Also, if you're using a plain old ballpoint pen like this at home, it's a good idea to do that every now and then anyway. If you're doing any kind of shading, the pen, without fail, the pen will make a big dark glob at exactly the spot where you don't want it to do that. So I like to periodically wipe off any excess ink that is building up on the edges. I just added eyebrows. I realized that I never gave her eyebrows at the beginning. So now she's got some eyebrows. And for the hair, I always draw hair the direction that it's growing. But to make kind of a reflection area, you're going to come back the opposite direction. So I always say kick the pen out. You're kicking the pen out going the direction that the hair grows, but then you have to come back in the opposite direction. So here I'm kicking it out the direction that it's growing. Now I have to come back, and the secret is try to get your lines to visually line up so that it will trick the brain into seeing it as a continued line. So if I do one coming at one angle and the hair coming the other direction, the lines coming the other direction are at a completely different angle, it's not going to trick anybody's brain into thinking that it's one continuous line. And at the end, we'll just kind of give a little pointed wisp, almost like a paintbrush, at the end of the braid. I'm not really sure what's happening with her pants here. We might want to add a couple wrinkles. I'll be honest, I don't really know what Viking pants would have looked like, and what kind of pants a shield maiden would have worn. It's possible they might have even worn long dresses, but I put mine in pants. And for her foot, I'm going to have this foot coming out towards us. And maybe this foot is coming out this way a little bit more. And we'll make the bottom of the spear and we'll put her on a plane someplace. You could even give her like a crow on her shoulder or something if you wanted. In Viking mythology, crows and ravens are very prevalent. Odin is often depicted with a raven on his shoulder. So there is our Viking shield maiden. Oh, you could also give her a shadow, I suppose. That might help. Just a quick little scribbly shadow so that she's not just floating in space, but she is grounded. All right, now we've got a Viking shield maiden. All right, so there's our Viking shield maiden. I hope you enjoyed following along step by step. If you drew one at home, don't forget to share it on Facebook or Instagram and tag the Paige Doodle Club. We love seeing the finished results, so keep those drawings coming. And we'll see you next time for another episode of the Paige Doodle Club when we'll be drawing a pirate. Thanks for watching.
Park Street Books is proud to sponsor the Paige Doodle Club. Park Street Books is an independent children's book and toy store. With nothing electronic in the store, Park Street Books encourages kids to read, play, and unplug. Find them locally at 504 Main Street, Medfield, Mass. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or visit parkstreetbooks.com no matter where you are. That's parkstreetbooks.com.